Weekend looking a little sketchy. Today, mix of clouds and sun, about 79 degrees for high, up to 60. Well, we are into the season.
We're in the season.
For the first time in about 40 years, we are going to have a race for sheriff of Hampden County. And one of the people that is recently announced is Reverend James Gill. And we are happy to have him on the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. And yourself?
I'm doing great too, and we really appreciate you coming. As we do often when we have political guests in, and this job interferes with my other job, which is a media consultant for political candidates. I actually am a consultant for another person in this race, so I'm going to recuse myself of this interview, and I will let Bo have a conversation with you, and take it away.
All right, welcome.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you. It is nice to meet you. Adam said it first. We're in the season. I got to be honest. We are early for this race in the season. This race doesn't happen until 2016. The election will be 2016. The primary, if there is a primary, will be September of next year. Why so early to get this going?
Well, one of the reasons why we're launching our campaign at this time is because we do need to get out to get some name recognition, to basically let the public get familiar with who James Gill actually is. Mm-hmm. And of course, fundraising. We definitely have to raise some funds.
Good answer. Easy question. Why do you want to be sheriff?
The primary reason why I want to be sheriff is based upon my 24 years of current history as a superintendent in the House of Correction and 4 years of prior history at the former York Street Jail facility. I have trained under Sheriff Ash. I have seen his passion and his vision. I have great and high respect for Sheriff Ash and the work that we do. And so my primary reason for wanting to be sheriff is somewhat in line with his, and that is I'm a human service person. In my heart, I love people, I believe in people, and in the Sheriff's Department we have a philosophy or a saying, and that is good programs is good security. And so in my current position as a programs man, I'm responsible for the programs building, if you will, I believe that I have a very good grasp upon what it takes to change criminal offender and behavior. My belief is very simple. We're dealing with a new type of offender today, and therefore we need a different type of thought process. This generation that's coming up today have no fear of authority. They have no fear of their mother, their father, if their father is present. They have no fear of the police, and some of them have no fear of going to jail. And so my concern is that we must step up to do something to bring that awareness to them to say, hey, this is not the way to go. You know, Bo, when I was a boy, going to jail was the worst possible thing that you ever wanted anyone to know.
I didn't want to go.
No, and neither did I.
I saw Scared Straight. I didn't want to go.
And the thing is, you would tell your neighborhood friends and anyone else that your family member that was incarcerated, you'd say they're down south or they're working on a job. You would never acknowledge the fact that they were locked up in jail. So it was a scourge, and it was also a shame. And one of the things that I want to do is to be at a platform, if you will, where we can do a better job of uniting all of these pieces that are fragmented together to produce correction.
Let's get into specifics. You mentioned you've been at the jail for 24 years, a couple of years before that at York Street. What actually do you do at the jail? What are your daily responsibilities?
My primary responsibilities govern around employment, employability training, job skills training. I'm also responsible for specialized programs such as anger management and domestic violence programming. I also oversee volunteers and student interns and all religious services in the department.
Recidivism was mentioned quite a few times in your announcement speech. How do we curtail that? Because that seems to be a big problem. We get somebody in there, they get out, and they're coming right back in. How do we end that tide?
Bo, I'm glad you asked that question because that's really what's at the base of my motivation for seeking to be sheriff. Please understand, no one can replace Sheriff Michael J. Ash Jr. The man is phenomenal. He is a genius of his time. and up there, I believe, with the criminal theorists of the past. But here's the deal for me. In order to change recidivism, or at least impact offender reentry, you've got to change the way the criminal thinks, because crime is really not the problem. The problem is the person that commits the crime and the way they think towards crime. So if we're going to make an impact, we're going to need to have more cognitive behavioral therapy type programs, or reality, emotive, behavioral kind of thinking programs. And more importantly, we need a lot of front-end diversion. If you can do that, because here's what I'm proposing to do. I believe that if I can change the way they think, I'll change the way they feel. And if I change the way they feel, then I can change the way they behave.
When you say change the way they think, do you want them to think the jail's just a rotten place to be? Do you want to change the way they think before they commit the crime? Where are you going with that thought process?
My thought process is primarily, I want to think, or impact rather, the way they think prior to committing the crime, with the front-end diversionary programs, and I've got a plan for that, which I can talk about in the future if you invite me back next month, okay? But here's the other thing. Once they're inside, one of the things that I want them to do is feel that jail is uncomfortable. No one should be comfortable coming to jail. No one in their right mind should want to be in jail. And so if I can create, and I'll use one of the sheriff's words, a little tension. If I can create a little tension by giving them the challenge of facing themselves, realizing who they are and what they've done, and then more importantly, let's rediscover who you are, or who you're supposed to be. If I can do that, we'll begin to make an impact.
Your slogan during this whole campaign is put the correction back in corrections. What does that mean?
What that means to me, actually, Bo, and it goes back 15 years when I sat in my first criminal justice class at Westfield State University now, when I was working towards my master's degree, which I have a master's degree in criminal justice administration. And the first class that I sat in, Criminal Justice in America, taught by Professor Mike McCartney, Mike said these words: the challenge of corrections is to produce correction. Those words, 15 years ago, reverberated in my heart and in my spirit, and it began to cause me to see and to ask the question, are we doing what our name says we do? As a correctional department, it says correctional. So are we really making the correction? Are we really leading people into a correctional change?
Are we doing that now?
I believe we're doing that. I believe, but we can do better. I believe we're doing that, but I believe we can raise the bar. I believe we're doing that, but we'll be more effective if we can also bring our community partners, for example, bring the families back to the table. One of my concerns is restoration of the offender, and another one is reunification. And that reunification process to me means that we've got to create the environment and the platform by which we get the buy-in back from the family as well as the community. The person that comes to jail did not come to lay. They did not come to play. They did not come to stay. I believe they came to change. And when James Gill is sheriff, that's exactly what you're going to see.
You mentioned it's early and you need to get out. How, on the politics side of this, how does James Gill get out there? How does he go and meet people? How does he get his name? You said name recognition and cash. How do you do both those things?
Well, basically just by being who I am. I'm James, and going out and meeting people, talking with them, getting to know who the players are, and more importantly, getting them to get a feel of me, knowing my heart, knowing my mind, and knowing that I'm a person who's really just wanting to help.
Right. All right. I have a feeling we'll be talking a couple times in the next, 16 months, whatever it is, because it's a long time. So you got a long road ahead. So good luck to you.
Hey, Bo and Adam, thank you so much for allowing me to have this time.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Great to meet you.
All right, it's 7:49. We're going to take a time out. We'll come right back out tomorrow, top of the hour. And as we get back from this break, we're going to tell you about the True Blue Thank You.
Yeah.